We understand that today mindfulness has spread into various fields outside of medicine. Can you describe the status of mindfulness in the U.S. and Europe, including some cases where you were directly involved in teaching program development?
For 11 years, I conducted a 5-day retreat called The Power of Mindfulness for business leaders on both the kind of for-profit side and the non-for-profit side. Ultimately, more than several hundred leaders in various business environments took this program. And I think in many cases it changed their lives. So it changed their personal lives and I think also changed their relationship to their businesses. That was the program that the U.S. Congressman Tim Ryan came to, and it certainly changed his life in 5 days and changed his relationship to his work. And he's become a major advocate in the U.S. Congress for mindfulness, which is a very risky thing for him to do politically, and yet he's been reelected several times since he wrote his book, A Mindful Nation, and he's from Ohio, which is the trickiest state in the entire country of America, of the United States, to actually win elections, because it's what's called a swing state. I lead a retreat with my son every year in Silicon Valley for Silicon Valley people who work at Facebook and Twitter and Google and other places, including the founders of some of these companies. And they're not just doing it to reduce their own personal stress. They're doing it because they want to transform the world, and they believe that mindfulness has one very important, is one very important element of transforming the world. Many of them got rich very, very quickly. They're billionaires, and yet they're young, and they're having children now. And they know that it's very important to parent mindfully. So that's a whole other domain of potential benefit, is bringing the next generation into the world in a way that is mindful and appropriate to the world that children born now are going to be facing. And they're going to need a lot of interior resources for dealing with the way the world's going to be in 15 or 20 years. Google has had MBSR as part of its program offerings for employees for at least 7 years, maybe longer. Apple also has mindfulness-based programs. Twitter is interested in this kind of thing. Facebook is doing research on these kinds of issues. They're very committed to mindfulness in a lot of different ways. So these are young entrepreneurs that are part of the new, sort of business environment. They are just wildly successful, but they're actually creating the future. And they're very aware that they're creating the future, and they're very aware that they need to be very aware to create and to be sensitive to what that future is going to be, both from a business point of view and from the point of view of social responsibility for what it is that they've created and how powerful these technologies are. So the business environment is really changing. I also know that people who are like, I can't mention names, but who run major U.S. corporations that are not digitally related, old-fashioned factory-based production companies and so forth, that the leadership, the very, very top of the leadership, has been touched by mindfulness and is now looking for ways to integrate it into the entire family of workers and managers and leaders and so forth. So this is something that's really coming online in the United States now. And I think in the next 4 or 5 or 10 years, we're going to see a major shift towards mindfulness in business environments. And when I say this, I mean mindfulness at its deepest level, not just mindful coaching, for instance, where somebody with not that much background in mindfulness is coming in and sort of just helping the chief executive manage his or her stress, but something that's much more profound and much more potentially transformative.